What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Treyarch indeed did the unthinkable when it comes to the Call of Duty community. Now, we always know that the majority of the meta when it comes to COD is always fully automatic weapons, you know? Sometimes a burst weapon might make it into the meta, but pretty quickly it's nerfed down into the dirt. But for the first time, I mean, not the first time, there's been other weapons that are still powerful, but for the first time for me personally that I've seen a lot of variety in this category, these devs have given these single-fire weapons a lot of love. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive deep into the Tanto aftermarket part that they released within this event, which is the binary trigger, and we're also going to talk about the FAL, and honestly, I have a few other things I want to discuss besides those weapons to hopefully encourage more players out there to branch out and stop using the same thing, and see that there is indeed a lot of decent stuff within the title that you can take advantage of. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post daily here at 8 morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in those streams, I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, starting off with the Tanto here, I gotta be honest with you guys. It's not too shabby. Now, I will say, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but the aftermarket part is a nice little shakeup. It's going to add some variety to when you are kind of bored with the usual of the game, you know? If you want to switch things up and have a little bit of a different take on certain weapons, this will definitely be a go-to for a lot of individuals. But I'll be real, I feel like this gun, well, this aftermarket part, is more so for players who might have a little bit more rough accuracy, because let me tell you guys something. It's basically like having rapid fire on the Tanto times 3. You fire so freaking quickly with this Tanto aftermarket part here that honestly, sometimes it doesn't even feel like a single fire mod for the Tanto, but it's fun. I think it's mostly for if you, like I said, if you miss a few shots, you will feel more confident with picking up those other bullets compared to the base Tanto, or even with rapid fire, where if you miss a few shots, it might be, you know, a life or death scenario. But with the aftermarket kit, I mean, you could just keep spraying and spraying and spraying. It's all right. It takes away the barrel slot. It takes away the underbarrel slot. But I will show you my specific setup that I put together when I finally got to the end of the list of attachments for this gun. As you can see right here, I'm going to throw it up on screen. And again, this is all subject to change. Don't take this like, you know, so seriously, ladies and gentlemen. I hate when people go on YouTube and look for very specific setups and only use that setup. Look at this setup. You could use it as a base mark point and then branch out and try your own setups and mess around with different things to see what suits you best. But from what I noticed, this aftermarket part definitely adds a lot more recoil and kick to the Tantos. So I obviously had to go ahead and put on the ported compensator because you can't put anything else on this weapon to control recoil, which is probably the hardest part about this. Like I said, it takes away the barrel and the underbarrel. So the only thing that you could really do is add on a stock, a rear grip. And in all reality, I can't really use the iron sights anymore. In the gameplay you're looking at here, yeah, I'm using the iron sights, but as time has gone on and I've versed more and more sweaty players, I think that with how drastic the kick is a little bit, with how you spray it down, it's much easier to track down targets with a red dot. But again, this is all, you know, opinion-based. You could change it around the way that you want to. But overall, it's a pretty cool gun. I like it. I have a lot of fun, you know, flowing around with it. It might not be my go-to when it comes to when I use the Tanto, but it's fun. And at the end of the day, like I said, I appreciate single fire mods, single fire weapons getting a tad bit of love in Black Ops 6. It's something that we don't see very frequently. Usually it's like 1, maybe 2 guns that are single fire that are going to even be seen within the gaming experience. In Black Ops 6, there is a handful. But moving on from the Tanto, let's actually move over to the FAL. Now this, to me personally, is the highlight of the whole Shadow event. This thing is an absolute demon. Now, I hear a lot of people having problems with the FAL, but I think it's how they're using it. You see, they put the FAL in the marksman rifle category. So you already know everybody's comparing it to things like the DM10, which obviously is going to be a harder hitting weapon. But it doesn't work like a marksman rifle, and that's what people are doing wrong with this gun. I'm going to show you guys the class setup that I personally put together, and again, you guys can change it around however you like. Put on a red dot, I put on, you know, an extended mag, and then everything else I hyper-focused to ADS speeds, sprint to fire speeds, and also strafing speeds. And then, of course, I used the recoil springs to help a little bit with the horizontal and vertical recoil. But this thing, it's an assault rifle. At the end of the day, that's what I'm going to say. It's an assault rifle, but I think they put it in the marksman class to make the marksman class seem like it's getting a little bit of love. That's the only reason, because if they put in another assault rifle into the game, I feel like people will be looking at it and saying, oh, they're putting in way too many ARs into this game. They need to add more variety. So I think they put it into the marksman rifle category to kind of calm people down and say, oh, look, variety is being given. But in all reality, this is not a marksman rifle. Pretty much every single marksman rifle in this game, I feel like it's better when you're distanced a little bit. Not completely. You can run and gun with them a little bit more, but you can't be super aggro. The FAL, you can. The only thing that sucks is that it's a marksman rifle. So guess what? When you're ADSing and you try to sprint out of the ADS, it's not going to work, because at marksman rifles, you're allowed to hold your breath, which is the only downside, really, in my personal opinion, which is why I wish it was an assault rifle, because then I can sprint out of my ADSs, and sometimes I just simply forget, but it's not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, this thing is absolutely awesome. Not as strong as some of the other weapons, but it's consistent. A faster fire rate, easy to control recoil. I mean, it's everything you could possibly ask for. And when it comes to the other marksman rifles, like I said, people are saying the DM10 are way better. And, damage-wise, yes. But the thing is that on the DM10, you have to kind of, hyper-focus that weapon around recoil control. So you can go ahead and land multiple bullets fast, right? And at the same time, the fire rate isn't too absurd. Whereas the FAL, you don't have to hyper-focus recoil, attachments. You saw my class setup I have for it. The only thing I hyper-focused was ADS speeds, like I said, sprint to fire speeds, and strafe speeds, and it works like a charm. It's the perfect run and gun weapon when it comes to having a little bit of damage at long range, but also being able to engage close to medium range as well. Definitely suggest you guys going ahead and giving this a go. But I don't want to end the video right here when it comes to discussing the Tanto and the FAL, because I'm tired of seeing the same crap in all these games. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game where there's actually a lot of variety with the single fire weapons, and we still see these same loadouts, the same stuff every single time. People are too scared to branch out to the variety, when I don't think they should. For example, the Goblin. This gun is ridiculous, but nobody uses it whatsoever. You can see my setup right here, and I highly suggest checking this out with a red dot suppressor, extended mag, assault grip, and also the light stock. I'll probably go ahead and change some of those things around if I'm going to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, this build right here for me works perfectly. And it's a very underrated weapon. Fast-paced, great fire rate. You don't need rapid fire for it. Great damage. I don't know why more people aren't using these categories when they are putting in this much work. I genuinely feel like it's just because people stray away and they're nervous to use anything that's not a fully automatic. You see it all the time. Burst weapons, single fire weapons are usually pushed aside in favor of fully automatic guns. And even in games like, Battlefield 1, for example, that was one of the main reasons why a lot of people didn't like Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 was a great game with a phenomenal atmosphere, but a lot of people backed away because it was World War I. And in World War I, there wasn't many fully automatic things. And the only thing that you could really use that was fully automatic was on the assault class for an SMG, but the mass majority of the weapons were semi-autos. You either used a LMG or an SMG for close range, or you have all semi-automatic weapons. And eventually they added in some fully automatic ARs that were, concept weapons during World War I later on in the life cycle of Battlefield 1. But overall, you weren't going to be messing with that stuff. A lot of people in gaming, when it comes to FPS games, like assault rifles that are fully auto. It's just as simple as that. And if they don't get that, they are going to stray away from the game. But I'm hoping to change this mentality. Guys, step out of your comfort zone, step out of your boundaries, and try something new and fresh, because they won't let you down. Now, are you going to be having fun against, the full stack of players who are calling out and, playing with all the competitive loadouts and stuff like that? Maybe not. But it's still enjoyable, and that's what pubs are about, hopping in and trying out the variety that is offered to you within this game. Even the ZAROV marksman rifle in Black Ops 6 is a demon. Now, I don't have any footage because I only just started using it today, in stream. But I do have a little bit of a class setup. This is actually from a blueprint that I believe you earn in the Battle Pass, and it's not too shabby. I changed out the long scope for a red dot, and I believe later on I'm going to change out the underbarrel, which is the marksman handguard, and change that out for a stock, to go ahead and give me faster strafing, movement speeds. Because I think all the underbarrel really does is it allows you to zoom in. I noticed that when I'm using a red dot on this, and I hold, shift to hold my breath, it actually zooms. It's pretty cool, low-key, but I don't necessarily need that, if I'm going to be honest. I'd rather switch that out for a stock, be able to move a bit faster, because although the fire rate isn't as fast as the DM10 or the FAL, it's just ridiculous. Guaranteed pretty much two-shot, and it has a one-shot headshot range that is absolutely absurd. And when you start tapping domes, it feels phenomenal. It's just, once again, another gun that is slept on because you can actually run and gun with this thing. It's not bad. The loadout that I just showcased to you guys works pretty nicely. And if you want proof, you can hop onto my stream. Like I said, I got a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. And you can check out the VOD from yesterday. If you guys are listening to this video, obviously on Sunday, the 16th of February, to be very specific for, people who might be coming into this video months down the road. If you look at my VOD from yesterday, you could see me rocking the ZAROV. And this thing is ridiculous. But again, you will never see these guns in pub matches. The Goblin, I never see. Not even the FAL. And plenty of people have it unlocked. But everybody gravitates away because they're more so hooked to the fully automatics and they don't want to give it a shot to learn. I think that's the biggest problem, is the learning process of getting into the flow state of using a semi-auto and how you should be tap firing, or if you could spam fire, which guns you could spam fire better than others. Because, for example, the DM10, although a very fun weapon, it's harder to spam fire because it has a lot more kick and you got to deck out the gun for better, recoil control, so on and so forth. But something like the FAL, you can spam it away. You can run more up close and personal and beam kids out. Same thing with the Goblin. It's supposed to be a semi-automatic rifle that's made for, close to medium ranges, not even for long range. This is not an assault rifle made for long range gameplay. Yet nobody wants to take advantage of it. They actually buffed the Goblin like 2 to 3 different, I think it was only 2 times. But it's in a state where it's ridiculous. But guess what? Nobody is going to try it. I even got a nuke with the Goblin. Actually, yeah, if you want to see me get a nuke with the Goblin, once again, you can hop onto my stream and check out the VOD from the other day. It tears things up. We need some more variety here, ladies and gentlemen. I have hope that eventually people will start branching out. But if they don't branch out, I still want to say thank you. I know everybody gets mad when I thank the developers for something that they did correctly, but that's what this channel is all about. I love Call of Duty. I love this franchise. When something goes wrong, I'm going to critique it. And when something goes right, I'm going to share some love for that because I want to see them take feedback and use that for the future of the franchise. Whether they do it or not, that is the main goal. That has always been the goal because we want to see this game always improve, especially if you're a COD fan, right? And that's what I want to push forward with. I like to see more semi-autos actually being useful in a Call of Duty experience. Like every other game I could think of, there's like maybe one, that you're going to want to rock. And even then, you're probably not going to want to rock it. And typically, it's a sniper rifle. So it's never really too enjoyable. But right now in Black Ops 6, we have a Tanto binary, mod that allows you to have, a single fire trigger finger that actually shoots absurdly fast, almost faster, and it seems fully automatic, which is great. We have an FAL, which does damage, a DM10, which is really good, apparently from, community standards, although I would rank it lower than the other weapons. I think the FAL is still better. I think the Goblin is more better in my personal preference. I just think the DM10 is better if you deck it out for a bit more range and actually try to snipe and land shots like with the scope, for example. But it is what it is. We have the ZAROV, which I just recently found out to be disgusting, and I'm going to be using this so much more. I'm getting gameplay for this channel so you guys can check it out as well. Plenty of variety, ladies and gentlemen. Just go out and try it. I promise you. You won't be disappointed with this, and hopefully maybe this will, transfer over to other games. When you travel over to Battlefield or any other title you could possibly think of, maybe people will actually branch out and give single-fire weapons a bit more love. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, like I said, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch. You can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.